It is 4 p.m. on the nose on the 13th day of January 2026. A very good afternoon to you wherever you're joining us from. It's time for Citizen Briefs. My name is Melita Oletenges. Let's begin with the latest. Now, lawyers in Kenya are up in arms after a High Court order slammed the door on public entities from hiring private law firms. Led by Law Society of Kenya LSK President Faith Odhiambo, the lawyers say the move by the judiciary is aimed at stifling the legal profession. The lawyers have vowed to push for a radical surgery in the judiciary. Nakuru High Court issued the ban following a petition filed by Dr. Magare Gikenyi and Busia Senator Okia Omtata Okoiti.
We shall not sit back and watch the judiciary, the last line of defense for the people of Kenya, run rogue against its own people. Unless this trend is nipped in the bud and with the requisite firmness it deserves, we are prepared to agitate for a radical surgery as a means to uphold and protect our constitution. As things stand, the Law Society of Kenya is collating all emerging instances of ineptitude, judicial arrogance and abrogation of duty on the part of judges and judicial officers. We will be taking necessary action against all breaches of duty and intend to end this cycle of abuse of judicial authority.
We need to have a system where judges exercise their discretion, taking in consideration the Constitution and the law that is provided thereunder. That we do not have such archaic and sweeping orders affecting an entire legal profession without even having had the very participants and individuals who are not even participants of those contracts purporting to get sweeping orders that are almost at finality stages at ex parte level.
Meanwhile, Supreme Court Judge Njoki Ndungu and Chief Magistrate Everlyne Olwande were sworn in today as commissioners of the Judicial Service Commission for a 5-year term in a ceremony attended by Chief Justice Martha Koome. Justice Njoki Ndungu was appointed to fill the vacancy left following the passing of the late Justice Mohammed Ibrahim, who represented the Supreme Court at the JSC. Chief Magistrate Everlyne Olwande begins a second term after being elected by members of the Kenya Magistrate and Judges Association. Chief Justice Martha Koome has called on the new commissioners to uphold integrity and serve Kenyans with diligence in their roles.
The oath binds you to fidelity, to the Constitution and the law, and calls upon you to serve the people of Kenya with diligence, integrity, impartiality, and devotion.
I reaffirm my unwavering support to discharge my duties with integrity, impartiality, diligence, and fidelity to the Constitution.
And even as I step into the shoes of my late brother, Justice Ibrahim, I do commit to also represent, in as far as possible, the concerns of other judges and judicial officers as we work in the Judicial Service Commission.
Now, President William Ruto has dismissed those opposing the NYOTA program that he says has already helped several youth with business startups. Speaking while officiating the 5th phase of the NYOTA program in Samburu County, President Ruto accused the opposition of lacking the youth agenda and instead using them for their selfish interests. The third round of the NYOTA program has been disbursed to youth in Samburu, Marsabit, Isiolo, and Laikipia counties.
Kama hamuna kitu ya kupanga ya hawa vijana, wachaneni na vitisho, wachaneni na uchochezi. Hawa vijana, they want a future. Wanataka kujua ajira itapatikana wapi. Wanataka kujua masomo wataendelea namna gani. Wanataka kujua biashara watafanya namna gani na watapata usaidizi wa aina gani kutoka serikali yao. And that is what we are going to do.
Ile bottom up rais alisema wakati alituongoza katika kampeni ndio hii. Mtu ambaye hana hata shilingi moja ya kufanya biashara anapatiwa 50,000 startup capital ya kuanza biashara. Na mimi nimesikia kuna watu wengine wanasema ati hii pesa sio pesa mingi, ni pesa kidogo. Mwenye anasema hivyo ajui shida ya wananchi mashinani.
Na hapa kwa NYOTA tuendelee ama tuendelee? Tuendelee ama tuendelee? Hebu nione wana wanasema tuendelee.
Elsewhere, a section of youth under the Youth 47 umbrella has vowed to stand in solidarity as they position themselves to shape the country's future leadership. The group says it plans to roll out town hall forums across all 47 counties aimed at engaging young people and amplifying their voices in national discourse. According to the movement, the initiative marks a rebirth of fresh political ideologies driven by the youth.
The idea is to bring up young people, to birth a new generation of leadership. We believe that time has come for a new type of leadership, for a new Kenya, for a new dawn. And so we called upon young people from all over the 47 counties, hence Youth 47.
I want to see more major change because we have been going through hell. Going through a lot of things because the people that have been obvious in that area, they don't want to address the lead issues that the common manager is facing.
Youth 47 today, it's about bringing youths together. We've come here as youth so that we can share ideas on how we can change, we can have a new Kenya. It is time for us as youths not to fight in the Nairobi streets anymore, but it's time for us to fight in the corridors of the parliament.
I'm here to shape policy. I'm here to create policy, shape policy and champion for oversight. Tusiseme ati senator ni kazi ya unakaa ukingojea kuwa governor ndio ufanye. Hapana, tuko na kazi mob sana tunafaa kufanya. And it's about time that we actually keep senators accountable, and I'm here. You can keep me accountable.
Today we are here to launch Youth 47 because we are saying that we need a new generation of leadership, and we are not talking about age, we are talking about ideas, we are talking about the perception. For example, in Integrity South, what we are doing is we want to unlock the productivity of young people, and we are doing that through tech and digital skills.
Now, a public interest petitioner has moved to court seeking urgent intervention over what he terms ethnic imbalance in the senior management of the Kenya Electricity Transmission Company, KETRACO. In his petition, Benjamin Okumu accuses the KETRACO Board of Directors of violating the Constitution by overseeing appointments that favor one ethnic community. The petition claims that following the appointment of the current board, several senior executives were removed and replaced within a short period, with 5 out of 9 top executive positions being occupied by individuals from a single ethnic community. Okumu argues that this pattern violates articles of the Constitution which require inclusiveness, equality, non-discrimination and representation of Kenya's diverse communities in public service. He wants the court to quash the appointments to the executive committee of the management made in violation of the Constitution. He also wants the court to order NCIC to conduct an independent diversity and ethnic representation audit of senior KETRACO's board, senior management and overall staffing. Elsewhere, NACADA has impounded fake alcohol worth more than 13 million shillings following a crackdown in Machakos County. In a coordinated early morning operation in Kava, NACADA officials raided 2 unlicensed establishments suspected to be at the center of one of the region's largest illicit brew networks. The operation yielded thousands of bottles of counterfeit alcohol, fake KRA excise stamps, and empty branded bottles believed to have been used for repackaging the illegal drinks.
2 notorious distributors of illicit alcohol, and we've been able to nab what we suspect is illicit alcohol worth 13 million Kenya shillings. We are pursuing the owners of these establishments. As we speak now, we've been able to arrest 2 suspects from both places where we did the exploitation, and these are 2 bars. One is called The Beast, and the other one is called the Kaba Connection. We've been able to ascertain that both of these 2 establishments are not licensed.
Now, 2 days before Uganda heads to the polls, human rights activists from across Africa are warning that the country's general election is taking place under a cloud of repression and intimidation. Speaking at a joint press conference by the Africans for Africa Solidarity Movement in Nairobi, the activists accused President Yoweri Museveni's government of deliberately suppressing the will of the people, arguing that the vote is unlikely to be free or fair. Among those who addressed the media were Kenyan activists Bob Njagi and Nicholas Oyo, who say they were abducted in Uganda last year while attending an opposition rally. Their concerns echo warnings from the United Nations Human Rights Office, which reports that hundreds of opposition supporters have been detained and that the elections is unfolding in an atmosphere of repression, just days before the vote. Authorities ordered 2 local human rights groups to suspend their operations after they spoke out against alleged arbitrary detentions and torture of opposition supporters and journalists. President Museveni, 81, is seeking to extend his 4-decade rule in a rematch against opposition leader Bobi Wine, as predominantly youthful population watches closely amid growing concern over the state of democracy in the East African nation.
Pains ahead of the voting day on January 15th. Uganda is at a crossroads between the past and the future, the old and the new. Ideally, elections are supposed to be held in an environment that is conducive to a free, fair, credible, transparent, verifiable, accountable election, so that the sovereign will of the people can be exercised. The Electoral Commission, led by Justice Simon Mugenyi Byabakama, has managed the affairs of the Commission in a manner that strongly suggests that he is a puppet of the ruling elite.
The progress of Uganda has been stifled by systematic corruption, has been stifled by suppression of human rights in Uganda, as my colleagues had already said. There is no freedom simply because he has had to do with limits or do with things that will keep him in power for all this time, especially when you look at the year 2005 when he first, abolished the presidential term limits, and then in 2017 when he abolished the presidential age limit.
To some international news now, President Donald Trump has announced a 25% tariff on trade with any country that continues doing business with Iran, escalating U.S. pressure following Tehran's deadly crackdown on anti-government protests. The move comes amid reports that at least 468 protesters have been killed, with human rights groups warning the death toll could rise. U.S. officials say President Trump has been briefed on a range of response options, including missile strikes, cyber operations, and psychological warfare, I should say. His national security team is expected to meet to assess these options as frustrations grow within the administration over Iran's actions. Trump has previously warned that the United States could consider military intervention if the killing of protesters continues. Meanwhile, Iran's foreign minister says Tehran remains open to dialogue but insists the country is prepared for war, a statement that underscores the escalating tensions. An ongoing internet blackout inside Iran has made independent verification of events difficult, while access for international media remains severely restricted. The global community is closely watching as Washington weighs its next steps.
کهگیلوی بابای رحمت، کرمان و مرکزی بر روی دستان مردم تشریع شدند. مردم اصفهان هم عصر امروز در محکومیت اغتشاش‌ها به میدان آمدند و با پیکر تعدادی از شهدای امنیت وداع کردند.